Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode in our WCW What If series in TEW 2020. It is the night after Uncensored 1997, and we have not much announced for the show other than the tag team matchup featuring the Armstrongs, Scott and Steve Armstrong taking on Chris Benoit and Marcus Bagwell of the Four Horsemen. Otherwise, we just have, the fallout from Uncensored, including the fact that Team WCW, in case you were watching this without watching Uncensored first, you should definitely go back and watch that first. But, spoiler alert, Team WCW did pick up the victory over the New World Order. In fact, Bret Hart was finally pinned for the first time in his career, in WCW, well, his WCW career, that is, as he was rolled up by Steve Austin to end the matchup. So that was a big thing, as well as Eddie Guerrero and Cactus Jack defeating Ric Flair and Brian Pillman in a 97 rated matchup, our best match that we've had in the series so far. So yeah, big stuff happening there. But we're going to dive into a Nitro here tonight. We've got the New World Order hit music playing to start off Nitro. As out comes the New World Order, surprisingly minus the WCW World Heavyweight Champion Bret Hart. Hart's just not with them for some reason right now. The group make their way to the ring, but not with as much confidence as they normally have. Bischoff gets a mic and sarcastically congratulates Team WCW and Roddy Piper for last night. However, just because Bischoff has no power in the NWO's title matches, doesn't mean he can't use his power in other ways. Next week on Nitro, he books a fatal four-way matchup featuring Dean Malenko, Owen Hart, Dustin Rhodes, and Steve Austin, the members of Team WCW. The crowd kind of boos because of Eric Bischoff making that matchup, but also kind of cheers because they are excited about that matchup happening. Roddy Piper then comes out and kind of laughs and says, well, it's good to know that you still have some power because, I'm still here in power here in WCW. I still have power to make things happen, just kind of rubbing it in Bischoff's face, who's clearly getting a little annoyed about this. But Piper says, but you know what? I will admit, you did have a good idea there. I like the idea of that fatal four-way matchup happening. I like that idea. Next week, that match is going to happen. In fact, I like it so much, I'm going to steal that idea from you. So next week on Nitro, there's going to be a second fatal four-way matchup between Paul Levesque, Jerry Lynn, Sean Waltman, and Bret the Hitman Hart, which Bischoff's like, what? Like, he's not happy about it. And Piper says, but you know what? I'm going to top you, Bischoff, because I can. You can't, but I can. That match next week, that fatal four-way matchup next week, is going to be for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And Bischoff just loses his mind about this, as Piper just laughs before he leaves backstage. So, 77 rating for this, but two big matches made for next week on Nitro. It will be two fatal four-way matches. One of them between Steve Austin, Owen Hart, Dustin Rhodes, and Dean Malenko. And the second one between Jerry Lynn, Sean Waltman, Paul Levesque, and Bret Hart for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. So going to be very interesting to see how that plays out next week. Then we have Sting comes to the ring and says, you know what? I've had 24 hours to think about it. Chris Jericho, you run your mouth. You want to fight? You want me to move out of the way so badly? Then meet me in the ring tonight to make me move. You and your little buddy, Lance Storm, versus me. And, well, I'm not going to reveal who my partner is going to be. So the challenge gets issued by Sting for what is going to be the main event for tonight's show. It will be Chris Jericho and Lance Storm versus Sting and a mystery partner. Gets the crowd hot there. Sting doesn't really say much, but what he says is impactful enough to get a big pop from the crowd. As we're going to have that set up for the upcoming future here. Or the main event, really. And after that, Vader is backstage. He's not in the ring. He is backstage, and he says that once again he beat that rookie nobody Rocky Maivia. But he says that he finds it kind of funny because he's just trying to prove his dominance. He's just trying to prove that he's a monster. But Ron Simmons seems to really have a problem with him beating up Rocky Maivia. So Ron, whenever you want to stop me, I'll be waiting for you. So kind of a very impactful words there by Vader as he's basically calling out Ron Simmons. He wants that fight with Ron Simmons, so we'll have to see if they end up having that fight in the near future. Then after that, the Giant defeats William Wesson in 7:45 by pinfall, the big boot. 76 rating for the match. It suffered from a lack of psychology. Probably went on too long for that, with the fact that Giant has like no psychology at this point. But it did get a boost because they have great chemistry with each other. But the Giant gets a victory over William Wesson in 7:45 here. 89 from the Giant, 57 from Wesson. After the match, though, the Giant is celebrating when Diamond Dallas Page appears out of nowhere and starts trying to beat him down. Giant tries to fight back, but Diamond Dallas Page is able to hit the Diamond Cutter. He's able to lay out Giant with the Diamond Cutter. The crowd's going crazy. Page then leaves the ring, but turns around only to see Giant just basically no-selling the Diamond Cutter. He gets up and he is pissed and starts screaming at Paige as Paige kind of looks on in surprise with that, as Paige's Diamond Cutter apparently wasn't enough to keep the Giant down at the moment. So Paige is going to have to figure out a new strategy for this ongoing war between him and the Giant. Then after that, Gene Okerlund interviews Steven Regal backstage to a 94 rating. My God, that's a strong one, even with Okerlund involved. As Steven Regal is asked by Okerlund about what he did last night at Uncensored, of course. If you missed it, you should definitely go back and watch that. But he got involved in the main event. He cost Dustin Rhodes his spot in the match, I guess, so to speak, and led to it being a one-on-one matchup that thankfully Steve Austin was able to win for Team WCW, or at least thankfully for them. But Okerlund asked Regal why the hell he did that, and Regal said that he wasn't happy about the fact that Dustin Rhodes beat him on Nitro. He wasn't happy about the fact that Dustin Rhodes was put into that matchup when he should have been in that matchup, and that he's not happy about Dustin Rhodes getting these opportunities that he should be getting, that he feels he should be getting. So if he needs to make a statement, then so be it. And Okerlund asks Regal about his involvement with the New World Order, asks if he's going to be a part of the group or anything like that. And Regal just scoffs at Okerlund before walking away. So Regal not answering about the New World Order, but he does give us a little bit of a reasoning as to why he attacked Dustin Rhodes. He is not happy about the fact that Dustin Rhodes was getting these opportunities when Regal felt that he should have been getting them. So kind of a interesting little thing there, but we'll have to see where things lead with that. Then after that, before Raven's match tonight, Raven's got a match here on Nitro, making his in-ring Nitro debut. He's going to be in action here. So before his matchup, Bad Babe approaches him backstage and pleads with him once again to at least be able to see Johnny B. Bad. Raven says that he can see the lies in her eyes, how she's blinded to the truth that exists around her. He offers to help her open her eyes, but she needs to accept his help. She refuses, and he says that he refuses to let her see Johnny B. Bad then. He walks off as she looks concerned about what he said, kind of concerned about the idea that she might have to actually accept whatever supposed help he's offering to be able to see Johnny B. Bad again. So we'll have to see where things go there, but nice little 64 rated segment. Not too bad. Then Raven goes to the ring and defeats Rob Van Dam in 9:05 by pinfall with an even flow DDT. 58 rating. They don't seem to click. Made for an awkward bout. That's a little weird. You would think Raven and RVD would have chemistry, or at least have, be able to somewhat click, but apparently not. But Raven's able to get the job done, defeating Rob Van Dam here. And able to secure some more momentum for him here in WCW. Then after that, we get an interesting little segment here, as Gene Okerlund introduces Booker T for an interview at this time. Booker comes out, and the crowd's going crazy here. Okerlund asks about Stevie Ray, and Booker doesn't seem to have anything to say at all. He's still looking hurt by everything that's happened. Okerlund is trying to get Booker T to talk. He's trying to ask him questions, trying to see what his mindset is about this whole thing with Stevie Ray. But nothing seems to be said at all. So as Okerlund just kind of throws up, it's kind of like, well, all right, fine, whatever. I get, he just walks away, whatever. That's when Stevie Ray shows up and jumps his brother. Stevie gets the advantage, is able to beat Booker T down until security staff are able to get in between the two of them and get Stevie Ray out of there as Booker gets checked on by medical staff afterwards. So Booker T was able to come back last night in the TV title matchup and able to cost his brother the TV title. But here tonight, Stevie's getting a little bit of a revenge as he attacks Booker T and leaves him laid out and being checked on once again. We got Eddie Guerrero backstage in a 100 rated segment. Let's go. He's backstage. He's not in the ring. He's backstage, and he says that he defeated Ric Flair last night at Uncensored. Yes, it was a tag team matchup, but at the end of the day, he's the one who got the pin on Flair. He says that he feels like that should be enough, but he knows it's not. He knows in this business that it's not enough to get a victory in a tag team matchup. That if you want to prove that you belong, that if you want to prove that you're ready for opportunities, that you have to defeat someone one-on-one. You have to defeat a legendary wrestler like Ric Flair one-on-one. So he says that he feels that that pinfall in that tag team matchup earned him a one-on-one matchup with Ric Flair. So he issues the challenge to try to see if Ric Flair is going to accept or if he's too much of a coward to accept the matchup. So Eddie Guerrero kind of sticking it there a little bit, kind of saying that, trying to call him a coward, trying to see if that's going to get him all riled up about that. We'll have to see what Ric Flair's response is, which, by the way, Ric Flair's response is, well, not yet. The show goes to a commercial break. It comes back, and Bret Armstrong and Medusa are shown wearing their latest t-shirts available to buy from WCW's website. They got Armstrong shirts, I guess, at this point. They're kind of showing them off here. 54 rating. Honestly, I put them in here because I wanted to get the TV champion featured on TV, but I didn't want to put him in a match because he's already fatigued a little bit. So I just figured, kind of, they can go out there and they can sell their Armstrong shirts, I guess. I need to do something because Bret Armstrong's momentum, despite the fact that I've been pushing him pretty decently recently, his momentum's still chilly, so I need to do something to get his momentum turned around. But, yeah, nice little segment here, 54 rating. After that, Ric Flair is backstage losing his goddamn mind. This is 100 rated segment, very hot stuff. He's losing his mind after last night's defeat at the hands of Eddie and Cactus, as well as what Eddie Guerrero just said moments ago. Pillman is there telling him to calm down. He says that Ric Flair is the nature boy. He's the multi-time world champion. He's better than Eddie Guerrero. One pin in a tag team matchup does not mean that Eddie Guerrero is better than Ric Flair, and he knows that Flair will prove it against Eddie Guerrero whenever that match takes place. Flair seems at least receptive of this talk and offers to take Pillman out on the town tonight. He's like, you know what? You're right. You're right. He's not better than me. He's not better than me. Whenever, we'll end up meeting in the ring at some point in time, and I will prove that he's not better than me. So let's go out. Let's just, get my mind off everything. Let's go out with, find some women, all that kind of stuff. Let's go out on the town. And Pillman says, yeah, we can do that as long as we wait for the rest of the group. The Benoit and Bagwell are in that tag team matchup up next. So they kind of go leave to seemingly watch that match. So apparently Horsemen are going to go out on the town tonight. Flair was irate about the comments from Eddie Guerrero, but Pillman was able to kind of talk him off the ledge, so to speak, and calm him down there. That tag team matchup happens. It gets a 73 rating. Pretty good there, actually. As the four Horsemen of Marcus Bagwell and Chris Benoit defeat the Armstrongs, Steve and Scott Armstrong. When Benoit pinned Steve with a diving headbutt, Benoit carried the match in terms of in-ring performances. Kind of makes sense. 82 from Benoit, 58 from Bagwell, 44 from Scott, and 47 from Steve. Marcus Bagwell with a 58 in-ring performance, so he's starting to get better. He's starting to get up there. We're going to have to see if we can keep working with him, keep getting him better in the ring, so we can really treat him as a equal member of the New World Order at this point, or of the New World Order. I'm used to Bagwell being like a part of the New World Order, an equal member of the Horsemen at this point. But very good stuff there for the Horsemen, getting the victory here. So the Armstrongs, they asked for this opportunity last night at Uncensored, and unfortunately it did not work out for them. So I have to go back to the drawing board on that one. After this match, Bagwell, Benoit, and Yoshida are celebrating the victory when Cutie Suzuki, Alex Wright, and Billy Kidman run in and attack, getting an advantage and beating them down after what happened last night at Uncensored. So getting a little bit of revenge after all that's happened. So, Kidman running out there with Alex Wright. So maybe Alex Wright and Billy Kidman are going to have some sort of little alliance, I guess, heading forward. But we'll have to see how that plays out. But Alex Wright, Billy Kidman, and Q Suzuki able to get a little bit of revenge after what happened at Uncensored. And then we have an interesting little segment here, which only got a 93, kind of disappointingly, but that's all right. As Steve Austin is having an interview with Gene Okerlund. Okerlund asks Steve Austin what his thoughts are about the Fatal 4-Way matchup next week, and Austin says he doesn't care about that. He is only focused on getting a shot at the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. He kind of makes it clear that he is going to be the one, that he's going to be challenging Bret or whoever the champion is if he has to wait for someone else and they get the victory. He says he wants that shot against Bret Hart, and he's just waiting for Roddy Piper to make it official. And this is when Owen Hart comes out. And Owen says, listen, Steve, I have respect for you. I've respected you. I have respect for you. You've been doing a hell of a job here at WCW. I know you've been dealing with my brother for a long time now, but it's my brother. I've been dealing with him for years now. I want that first shot against him. If I don't care if I have to go through whatever I have to go through to get it. I want the first shot at him. And if when I win the title, I will gladly defend the title against you. I will have no problem with that. But I want that first shot against Bret. And Austin's like, well, son, you may be brothers with the guy, which I still can't fully trust you. You may be brothers with the guy, but I have wanted to get a piece of him for months now at this point. The son of a bitch has been avoiding me time and time again. I want my shot at the world title, and I want it to be against Bret because I want to be the one to take the title from him. The two kind of interrupt or kind of have a little bit of a back and forth between them. As Okerlund is trying to, do his best to mediate the whole thing before Owen and Austin both walk off and in separate directions and kind of, leaving it in a kind of a weird spot. I mean, Austin and Owen seem to both want that shot at the world title, but they both want to be the one to beat Bret for it. So what does that mean? Who's going to get the title shot first? Who's going to be the one that that beats Bret, I guess, at this point. Although, to be fair, they're sitting here talking about Bret being the world champion. To be fair, after next week, he might not even be the world champion anymore. It might be another member of the New World Order that wins the title. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. Then we have Bret Hart in a separate backstage segment, who struggled when going off script, which is kind of weird, but he got an 85 here. He says that he's disappointed in himself for the loss last night at Uncensored. He's not blaming the group. He's blaming himself. He's the one who suffered the final defeat. But he's been in this business for too long to know that one loss does not mean the end of the world. One loss is not the end of everything. So he says that next week, if he has to fight his NWO brethren, then so be it. He'll defend the championship successfully there. And he says he doesn't care if it's Owen or Austin or Dustin Rhodes or Dean Malenko or all four of them. He doesn't care. He doesn't care because he is the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. He is a proud member of the New World Order, and he will continue to reign atop the mountain here in WCW. Does not matter who the champion or who the challenger is. Bret Hart will still be the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. So very strong words there from Bret, as he makes it clear that he's disappointed after last night, but that he doesn't care who his challengers are. He's going to retain and reign supreme. And the main event got a 79. Not bad, honestly. Not too bad. As Sting and his partner, Too Cold Scorpio, which is, kind of a bit of a surprise there. Too Cold Scorpio being given the chance to be tag team partners with Sting tonight. Defeats Sudden Impact in 12:39 when Sting gets Lance Storm to submit to the Scorpion Deathlock. Lance Storm was a weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone's in-ring performances. He had a 52, 68 from Scorpio, 78 from Jericho, 80 from Sting. I didn't do it as a segment, but after the match, Jericho's kind of livid about the loss as Sting and Scorpio celebrate to end Nitro. 90 rated show. Let's go. Even with that main event not being as hot as I was hoping, it still was a great show. Definitely those angles are definitely helping us out. So increasing our popularity in 34 regions. Obviously, great stuff there. Hey, look, there's Lance Storm. There is Lance Storm. So yeah, good episode of Nitro for sure. So we got some interesting stuff there. I mean, next week, 2 fatal 4-way matches happening, including the NWO one being for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship that Bret Hart currently holds. We also have potentially what's going to happen between Booker T and Stevie Ray. You got to imagine that Dustin Rhodes is going to have some sort of answer for Steven Regal, and also, some sort of answer about what championship he might want to challenge for. Clearly, Austin and Owen have made it clear that they want a shot at the world title, but they seem to be also getting ready to argue with each other about it at the same time. We'll have to see how all of that plays out. Once again, this week, we defeat Raw. We actually had more viewers than Roseanne, so we are in the top 4. Yes, we beat Roseanne finally. Big victory for us this week. Almost 6.9 million viewers. Raw had 3.4 million viewers with a 76 rated show that featured Scott Hall and Diesel defeating Ahmed Johnson and Tex Schlesinger. That is certainly a show, or a main event. I mean, that is certainly a main event. Yokozuna defeating Savio Vega as well. So yeah, interesting stuff there. But once again, the WCW getting the advantage and taking it to WWF. Once again, it's not even really much of a competition as much between the two now, because WWF is down to medium size. They're still number 2 in the world, but they're down to medium size now, so it's kind of, we're kind of pulling away from them. But we'll have to see how things continue to play out in WCW as we move on from Uncensored and head towards Spring Stampede, which is set to take place in April. We'll have to see what ends up happening there. But that is going to do it for us today. Thank you all for watching. Definitely appreciate all the support you continue to have for the channel. And we will catch you all in a future video.